All right, let's go dark for this briefing. Today, we are opening a case file on one of the most misunderstood parts of our brain, the 2 a.m. mind. This is a full-on psychological investigation. Let's get into it. You know this feeling, right? The house is dead silent, the city has finally gone dark, your phone has stopped buzzing, and then, boom, your brain just switches on. It's suddenly sharper and clearer than it's been all day. So what is going on here? Is there something wrong with you, or is this a sign that something is profoundly right?
Okay, so let's break down the two competing theories on the whiteboard. Over here on the left, we've got society's assumption. You're just a night owl. Your schedule is all messed up and you need to fix it. But over on the right, we have the psychological reality we're investigating. You've actually hit your cognitive peak. This is a state of pure mental flow that honestly, the daytime grind actively works against.
Now for our first piece of evidence in this investigation. This one is all about a crucial distinction. We need to stop thinking about time and start thinking about energy. It's all about decoding your own personal cognitive rhythm.
We've all heard about the circadian rhythm, right? But it's usually talked about in the context of being off or broken. But what if that's the wrong way to look at it? What if your internal clock isn't broken at all? What if it's just tuned to a completely different frequency? One that's way more focused and just doesn't happen to align with a standard 9 to 5.
Just look at the difference in output here. It's staggering. 8 hours of typical daytime work, filled with emails, meetings, pointless interruptions, barely gets you a productivity score of 40. Now, compare that to just 4 hours of pure, uninterrupted late-night focus. Your output skyrockets to 95. Come on, it's not even a fair fight. So the key takeaway here is that these peak hours are an incredibly valuable resource. They are your single most valuable asset. The goal isn't to fix them into a normal schedule, but to fiercely protect them. You have to build your schedule around your energy, not force your energy into someone else's schedule. Okay, on to our second clue in this investigation, and this one's a social one. It's about a simple, powerful fact. At 2 a.m., the audience finally goes home. This is when we escape what psychologists call the spotlight effect. So what is the audience effect? Well, it's that constant low-level performance that we're all putting on during the day. We're choosing our words carefully, we're managing how we come across, we're reacting to social cues, even when we think we're alone. And let me tell you, it is absolutely exhausting. Let's break down exactly how this strains your battery. First, you're performing for everyone, your colleagues, your boss, even people on social media you don't really like. This means you have a social filter running 24/7, and that process eats up a huge amount of mental energy. And because of that, your really raw, unfiltered, maybe even risky creative ideas, they get pushed way, way down. But then, the clock strikes 2 a.m., the theater curtains close, the audience disappears, and with it, the need to perform just vanishes. This right here, this is what psychological freedom actually feels like. Your brain can finally stop managing impressions and start making real, deep connections. Our third piece of evidence looks at the environment itself. See, the quiet of the night isn't just peaceful, it's functional. It allows your brain to finally do one of its most important jobs: separate the signal from all the noise. The daytime is pure noise. It is a constant bombardment of data, notifications, and new inputs from every direction. But the nighttime? That's when the signal finally has a chance to emerge. Your brain literally switches modes. It goes from just receiving information to deeply processing it. It stops being bombarded and starts actively hunting for patterns. And this isn't just random, it's a very structured process. All day long, your brain is just collecting all this scattered data. Then, when the silence hits, it starts the pattern hunting phase, connecting dots that were totally invisible during the chaos of the day. And finally, it gets to the last step, insight indexing. This is that magic moment where your subconscious fits all the puzzle pieces together and the big picture just snaps into focus. So, those incredible aha moments, those ideas that feel like they just came out of absolutely nowhere? They are not magic. It's your brain acting like a master librarian. It's finally getting the quiet time it needs to take all those books left on the counter all day and file them correctly on the shelves. And that is when you find the answer you've been looking for. Okay, so we've analyzed the clues, we've looked at the evidence. Now let's get practical. How do we actually use these hours? How do we leverage this natural state of deep thinking? Think about it like this. During the day, your brain is like a jet engine, but but it's being forced to fly at the speed of a snail because of all the constant interruptions. But at night, the world slows down to a crawl, and for the first time all day, your brain can finally fly at its intended speed. All that friction is just gone.
And that speed, that freedom, it allows for a really fundamental shift in how you think. You stop thinking in those anxious, repetitive circles that get you nowhere. The quiet basically lets you erase that spiral and replace it with clear, organized layers. You can actually tackle a problem from the foundation up without constantly getting knocked off course. And this whole principle of depth over distraction doesn't just apply to your work. It applies to your rest, too. It's all about quality over quantity. 6 hours of deep, high-quality, rhythmic sleep after a period of productive flow, that's way more restorative than 8 hours of fragmented, stressful sleep you got because you forced yourself to bed against your body's natural rhythm.
The whole point of this entire investigation really boils down to this one idea right here. It's not a competition to see who can work the longest. Real genius, true creativity, actual productivity, it's all about identifying your absolute best hours and then structuring your life to squeeze every last drop of potential out of them. So let's close the case file. That 2 a.m. spark you feel isn't a glitch in your system, it's a feature. It is a sign that your mind is literally wired for deep, uninterrupted thought. It is not something you need to fix, it's something you need to embrace.
And all this evidence leaves us with one final, very provocative question for you to think about. After everything we've looked at, why would you keep trying to force a square peg into a round hole? Why keep fighting your own nature just to fit into a schedule that clearly was not designed for the way your brain does its best work?